In today's networking world, if you ping a public server and actually get an echo or an echo reply back, and your pings actually work, I'd be a little surprised because most servers like that are denying pings, period. They're blocking them with an ACL or doing something else because pings, as innocent as they sound, can actually be part of an attack against our network. They can actually serve as two kinds of weapons, really. One is just to gather information about your network. Someone could do what we call a ping sweep and just sweep a range of IP addresses, and then they see what comes back, what doesn't, and immediately they've got information about which IP addresses you're using, which ones are returning pings, and they just go from there. It's really more information gathering than anything else. But pings can also be used as a weapon against our network. So it's a very common thing to not allow your routers and servers to return pings from outside your network. Now, inside your network, this can come in handy as well. But just a real-world note of caution here. Be careful about going really nuts with blocking pings on the inside of your network, because there's nothing more frustrating than you or, say, someone you've called in to say, yeah, we got a problem, and they come in, and what's the first thing a lot of people do in that situation? They start running pings, and it's like, well, none of these pings are coming back, and I'm getting some weird results. Well, then you realize your ACLs are blocking pings. You might have to take those lines out for a little while. But what we're going to do in this particular lab is work with a scenario like that, because it is common just to not allow anybody from outside your network to send in pings. But internally, we've got to be a little more careful. So here, we've got routers 1 and 2. We're using the same IP addresses in the previous labs. And both routers 1 and 2 can ping router 3 right now. But let's say that we want to block router 1 pings but permit router 2 pings. Okay? So let's say that was our objective. We're going to use a named access list this time. And what should we do here? Does it matter whether we use a standard or extended ACL? It does matter here because we need something that's just going to block pings and ping replies. We don't want to block all traffic source from router 1. That's not what we want to do. So let's go ahead and choose an extended one. And we'll just put no ping R1. I'll put 2 underscores in it just to annoy my supervisor. And that's for an old friend. And we'll just go with create right there. So the first thing we're going to do then is what? How could we do this with the fewest lines, assuming no other hosts were on the network? We could just permit router 2's address and then just let the implicit deny do its thing, right? But what I'm going to do instead, let's add something to that. Let's say we need to deny router 1, permit router 2, and permit everybody else, but if anyone else does ping, we need to see who they were. How are we going to do that? Let's take a look. First off, we're going to do our deny line, very first thing. And here we've got to go a little longer. We're going to put ICMP, which is the Internet Control Message Protocol. And we're going to do host for the source. And that's going to be 172.12.123.1. And we're just going to say any destination. And as you see, we've got a lot of options here. But what we're going to stick with is echo and echo reply. That's what we're going to block. Echo. And we're going to log this as well. Just hit escape there to get out of that. Then I can use my up arrow and just go back a little bit and put reply right there. And we'll log that as well. So now we've denied echoes and echo replies. What we're going to do then is permit ICMP host 172.12.123.2 any. We'll do an echo and an echo reply just for fun. Let's see what we get for the login here. And now we're going to permit ICMP any log. just for fun, just to shake it up a little bit. So we've got .1 and .2 there, and a permit at the end. Now, what do we need to do? We need to apply it. And that's going to be coming in on serial 0 with the pings. And it's just no ping R1 in. Now that we've applied that, we've got that list, we've got some logging going on. Let's go to router 1 now and send the ping that went through successfully with no problem at all before. And does this look familiar to you? If you got your CCNA with me, it looks familiar. Remember, this is the undeliverable thing. This is when the local router may have a path to it but just can't get there. Remember, we did that with static routing in your CCNA labs with me. And let's go ahead and run Debug Ip Packet, because that would be the first thing that I would run there. It's like, okay, let's see what's really going on here. And you would see in this case, and I know it's going slightly off the screen there, but we'll take a look. It's just sending and received, and you see your .us here. So something is definitely askew there. And what's askew, of course, is that router 3 is blocking that traffic. So let's do a quick show log here. And this is from an earlier test. Then I did some configs and took that off. But you could see no ping R1. And it's even going to tell you here, what the source and destination is. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Even going to show you what that is. Because if you look in show access list, it's going to show you, and here's the one we just wrote, extended no ping R1, there are matches. So that is why you may want to put the log on and explicit deny any statement. We talked about that earlier, deny any log. And that's because you can see your matches that way. So we've got router 3 taken care of. Now what do you think about router 2? Let's go over to router 2. And it goes right through. Goes absolutely right through, just the way we wanted. And let's see where our matches are. And there are our matches right there. The 5 echoes came in, no problem at all. So that's really it. That's exactly how you just block your pings and your ping replies. And let's take a look then. Got that list. Let's look at show log as well. And you can see again at the bottom of your log, because I did a reload, I erased the log buffer and then did a reload. And there's your no ping, and it's telling you what's permitted as well. So pretty cool stuff there. And that's just all there is to blocking a ping. And of course, it is generally a good idea to block pings from the outside so people can't do a little work on your network without you knowing about it. We're going to go into time-based ACLs next. This may be a little beyond the scope of the Ccna security exam, but I really want you to see these because we don't necessarily want to block a certain kind of traffic all the time. Maybe you want to allow web access from 9 in the morning until 6 p.m. and then in the evenings and weekends you want it blocked. You don't want anybody sneaking in and using the company internet to do whatever. So I'm going to show you a time-based ACL next, and I'll see you on the next video. We'll run another lab. See you there.